Vanakkam, Namaste, Swagatam. We are in the last segment of integral family system. We have seen the basic understanding of family. Then we have seen the discussion on, freedom. Then we have seen about the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and then we have also seen the two families' issues and the possibilities. And now we have reached the relative segment. In this relative segment, we are not going to see just the relatives, those who are third or fourth circle, but even our siblings. So we are going to see all levels of relatives and their role, and the possibilities and the consequence and the trouble and the solutions. Let's do it. Generally, we can classify all the people into three different types. The first couple can be of people, those who have strong relatives around, and they have a good connection, and they are mutually dependent, or they are very much supportive. So they value relatives. And there could be second category where they have relatives for no use, and they don't be in touch with the relatives, and the relatives are not in touch with them, and for them there is friends matter more than relatives, or relatives doesn't matter, that category. And there's a third category where we can't even say what category they belong to, because they don't know whether their relatives are worth it or not. If you say they have the relatives, they say, yeah, we have relatives. And when you ask questions, how good they are, the answer will be messy. So they don't know whether the relatives are to be, kept in or out. So, middle here and there category. So generally, there are these three categories, and here what we are going to see is not only just about relatives and the issues and the help, but also the bigger picture, so that not only for you today, but at least for your next generation, after 10 years, after 20 years, what kind of a support system you want to give to your child. Keeping all those in mind, I would like to discuss few things in the context of relatives, and I want you to have not a smaller perspective with your own few relatives in your mind and approach the entire segment. I want you to have a bigger perspective. Okay, let's do under relatives, what are the major subtopics. So we are going to see a few amazing facts from relatives perspective, from different systems and situations, and then we will be seeing basics, nature, and action plan. So let's jump into first one, pregnant widow. This will be surprising. Recently I came to know where in one person's condolence, somebody died, and in that death ceremony, when all the relatives have assembled, the friends have assembled, newly married couple, the husband died. In less than 1 year of marriage, the husband died, and everybody were sitting outside the house, and the wife and all the family are crying in front of the dead body inside the house. This is the situation in that village, where one old lady came from the house and kept a pot full of milk, and kept it in the middle of the road. And it was so visible that everybody who are sitting around, everybody's attention was focused there on that lady. And that old grandmother kept that vessel full of milk, and clapped and called everybody's attention, and then took a flower and dropped it into that vessel full of milk. And when that flower is dropped, all the people around are making sound like, oh, so sad, so bad. And after a few seconds, she took the second flower and again dropped. Then again everybody told, oh, what a pity. And the people, those who don't know this custom, can't even imagine what exactly is happening. And then after a few seconds, she again dropped the third flower, and everybody again made so much of sad sounds, and they felt bad, and they told, oh, what a pity, what a sad, oh, unfortunate, blah blah. and then that lady went inside with the vessel. So when inquired on this, why, what happened, why exactly everybody told, oh no, so at that time they explained the situation. There is a custom in that family system, or in that caste, or in the community, where when the husband died and wife is still young and wife is pregnant, let's say 1 month pregnant or 2 months pregnant, or 3 months pregnancy, 3 months pregnancy will not be visibly noticed by outsiders, right? So they are informing the whole family, whole village, whole community that she is pregnant. On which day they are doing this? The very day when the husband is dead, when the dead body is not even cremated, they are keeping that vessel in, and they are not announcing everybody, they are just symbolically telling, so that it will not make that girl more painful, but also everybody will be informed. So one flower means 1 month pregnant, 2 flower means 2 months pregnant, and 3 flowers means 3 months pregnant. Husband died. All are worried about that unfortunate death of that husband, and everybody are thinking about the next step of the family. And there is so much of chaos, and there are so many guests and relatives are around. There are so many rituals to be followed, and so many things are going on in the head. And even in that situation, they have a system to make sure that down the line, after 4-5 months, nobody should make any bad comment on the newly married girl. So this is the right moment to tell everybody that she's already pregnant, so that nobody will make any bad comment on her about her character in the future. So they want to make sure that right that day, that moment itself, so they are informing. And even that informing is happening in such a sophisticated level, where people are feeling more compassionate on that issue, but no gossip and chit chat is happening around that topic, right? So this is one small sample of a role what different relatives will play in different functions. This is one such custom where the interconnections and the value system is intertwined with the relatives. Anyway, the compassion and the vision of the future. Okay, now let us see the second one, brothers marriage. That means when a person in a family is ready to get married, they can't just make that person to get married with someone until and unless the elders in that family, a sibling or a cousin, they get married. Sometimes it happens where 3 brothers and 3 brothers' children will be there, and the third brother son will not get married because the first 2 father's elder brother's children didn't get married, and therefore the third brother's son will be waiting for his marriage. Only when the first 2 elder uncle's children get married, only then he will get married. People may always get these questions, when people are not understanding the beauty of family system. Arey, what is this? You want to get married, you get married. Why you want to wait for others? No, they don't see the father's elder brother family or other families as separate outsiders. It is all connected with one, and every decision happens together. Many a times decisions will be taken not by father or mother, but by father and mother's elders, or elder sibling or something like that. So this gives a very beautiful strength to the family system, and also a responsibility to the family system, so that the elder brother's children will see father's younger brother's children not as some younger kid in the family, but also as a responsible junior, so that if I do anything wrong, then he will get influenced by me, and if anything happens, then I should be there for them to take care. So there is a mutual give and take responsibility. And not only that, but also they all feel as one family. So there are many other family dynamics involved. I'm just giving you a few samples. Let us not discuss in detail, That is, one is the responsibility factor and also the hierarchy, not only within the family, but also to the bigger family with respect to the joint family system. Okay. The third one is marriage invitation. This also is still in practice. When a marriage happens, they will give a proper marriage invitation, a traditional marriage invitation. And who will invite the guest for that marriage? The the bride's or bridegroom's parents? No, the elders in the family. If father is alive, then father's name, grandfather's name, or much elder great grandfather, or elder brother. Only the elders' names will be placed as the invitee, and they will invite all of them. And when such a thing happen, the responsibility of that elder is valued. And people today, I agree, people today come up with the different individual invitations. Husband gives invitation, the bride gives invitation, bridegroom gives invitation, and children make their own invitation, and all the kids' names will be written in the bottom, and they give their own invitation circle, and many things are happening. But still this is followed, which tells that there is a very big relationship bond between everybody. And one thing you need to know, since I am mentioning my father's elder brother's name for my marriage, that doesn't mean that he is going to spend money on my marriage, or he is going to take full workload. No, it is not so. My father will be doing, I will be doing, or my elder brother will be doing, but the respect and the credit goes to him. Wonderful, right? See, when a person gets old, the Indian system doesn't see that person as a useless. There is no concept of use and throw, use and preserve. You're understanding me? When a person gets older and older in India, that person's value gets increased. Whereas in normal system, when a person is getting used more, then that person's value comes down. That is why in ancient India, we don't see or hear a concept of orphanage or old age home. Very, very important point. Why do a person need old age home? When they have kids. Old age home is required for those people whose children are not responsible enough to take care of their own parents. What is the difference between animals and human beings? A bird doesn't need its parents when the bird starts flying, so leaves the nest. Okay, so now I can take care of myself, therefore I don't want my parents to take care of me, therefore I take off from my home and I start living my own life. This is what the Western world is living. But what harm in it? It's good idea, right? A grown up, he takes care of himself, right? It's good or bad? Kindly do understand, it is not about whether you can take care of yourself or not, but whether your parents in their old age, can they take care of themselves or not. Human being is completely designed in a different way. Human beings are dependent creatures. When a cow gives birth to a calf, within few seconds the calf will run and jump and do all naughty things. Whereas when a mother gives birth to a child, the child takes around 1.5-2 years to get full control of its feet, to walk and crawl and run and jump. We are fully dependent. We can't take care of ourselves. We are not like any other creatures in the world. Human beings are very, very unique. And the same dependency which we are having when we are a child will come back to us when we are old. When you cross 75, when you cross 85, nowadays it is happening in 55, 60 itself, the dependency. Your body doesn't work, your sensory organs doesn't work, and you are fully dependent on other person. And when our entire structure is different, isn't it our responsibility to take care of our parents when they took care of us when we were dependent? Correct? So this concept of mutual dependency is the reason why in ancient India we never had orphanages or old age home. Why orphanages? Yes, we never had orphanages. If anybody's father or mother died, then the relatives itself will take care of one child and they will take care of that child. Today we are thinking it is a burden. When we think about our own parents as burden, obviously won't we think of somebody's child as burden. This shows that we are not understanding the beauty of the family system and relatives. So let us get into the basics. As I told earlier, the same way, relatives are everything for me, relatives are something for me, and relatives are nothing for me. Those are the three categories. And now let us see who's that everything category. So two types are there. One is those who say that relatives are everything fall under two. That is, one category say they are dependent on their relatives, and the other category is nothing but a parasite, fully dependent. They earn, they live, they survive on their relatives' money. So that is parasite. Let us not discuss much about that because it is already understood. The second one is dependent based on love, knowledge, or work. Beautiful, right? I value my relatives. It can be your uncle, it can be your sister-in-law, or it can be your father's brothers, or anybody for that matter, any relative for that matter. Okay, it can be one person or it can be group of relatives, whatever it is. You depend on them because they give you love. There is a very mutual, amazing love, care, and share, and because of which you value your relatives. One category. Second category is knowledge. They guide me. They do knowledge transfer whenever I require which path to choose. They are there for me to support and help me in deciding things. So based on the intelligence, they help me and support me. And the third category can be physical work itself. It can be physical work of pretty physical, solid physical things, or cooking or something as simple as that. Or it can be work wise or profession wise in a bigger way. But it is in the physical level the relatives contribute or help or support. Therefore you consider relatives are worth it. And any of these things are healthy because you are not a parasite, but you also give back to them. Parasites are those who doesn't survive without their relatives, right? So that is the worst dimension of fully dependent on relatives. The second one is something. They are selectively dependent. What is selectively dependent? Only when there's a problem, only when there's a need, they go to them and they get help and they come back. And after that, they don't get in touch with them. When they want to go to a city and when they want to stay, then they will contact that relative and they will talk, and they will stay there for 3-4 days and they'll come back. Or whenever there is a function, they will go, talk, spend, smile, laugh, and get some good moments with them, and then they'll come back and live their own life. So it is selective dependency, and also give and take will be there. So they also give and they also take. And the last one, let me minimize it. Yeah. So last one is a little different, right? For your information, past fight, past bitter experience, impact, attitude, circumstances. By this, you understood many of these things, what I'm going to discuss now, right? Okay, let's see what is for your information. One relative can be wrong, or not everybody. What is this? People come to a conclusion that relatives are waste. There is no use of having a relative. Relatives all are selfish, and there is no use in calling them as relatives, blah blah. Whoever says this, if you say this, please understand, one relative can be a wrong person, or two maybe, but can't everybody be wrong, correct? So if you say all your relatives are wrong, then the answer is very simple. What? Not all are wrong, you are wrong. If you are having quarrel with all your relatives, then the problem is not in all your relatives, the problem is with you. Understand, this is a very basic, simple logic. You can't blame everybody and say you are a great person. You can have an issue with one person, or one person may not be as good as you expect, blah blah, possible. but not you can blame all the relatives are bad. So if you say all the relatives are bad or useless or selfish, that means they are not the problem. The problem is in you. Now, what is past fight? This could be a very solid reason in many families. Your father might have got split up with his brothers or with some relatives, and because of which some incident which you may or may not know fully, because of which the entire relatives keep your father and your mother little away, because of which you may not get full access to your relatives, or you may not even know your relatives. So this could be a good reason to come to a conclusion today that relatives doesn't matter to us because of some past big quarrel or split up or fight. The third one is a bitter experiences impact. There could be one instance where your mother might have been targeted by a few relatives in one function or something, or your father might have got some insult in some place. One incident, one incident, and it doesn't mean to be like a big fight or a quarrel or a split up kind, but one or two incidents happened, and because of which your family took a decision that it is better to stay away from all these people. You're understanding me? There is no quarrel. Okay, but still, because of one incident's impact, whatever you did analysis on that incident, that took you away from the relative zone possible. Then the fourth one is attitude. This can be from your end, not from the other end, because other end is vast. There can be hundreds of relatives. You can't blame everybody. But if your attitude is rude, if your attitude is so selfish, rude, I mean, because there are few people, those who unknowingly hurt people using their words. They don't intentionally taunt them or torture them or pull their legs or make fun of them, but when they casually make statements, it hurts people the other way. This person might even not know that I am hurting the other person. This person will be saying with the fun or with casuality, but casually, but the other person would take it more serious. So you might be having that kind of a communicational skill, or you might be selfish. And you, I mean the family, any of the member or etc. This could be the problem for having this reason or attitude towards the relatives. The last one is circumstance. You may be staying far away from your relatives. Let's say all your relatives are in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or Bengal, and you got placed somewhere in New Jersey or somewhere in Delhi, where you can't frequently visit your relatives. Because of this reason also, you may not require your relatives anymore. So you may think that relatives are waste or useless. The other option is you don't need them. You have achieved whatever you want. You have money, you have a job, you have position, status, friends, everything. Therefore you don't need their requirement. Therefore you never thought of them or you never went to them. This is also possible. I'm not saying as a bad thing, but the different possibilities of not valuing your relative may not always stick to that the relatives all are bad. So I'm just giving you the reasons for it. Possible reason. The last option could be this also. You might be very, very poor, and obviously not everybody are ready to take responsibility of every poor family in the entire relative side. So this could be one reason why people might have not helped you or never came to you, and that is definitely very, very bad, without doubt. And that could be one reason where, because of your financial status, people left you away from interacting much with you, and because of which you think that the relatives are bad. So these are all the possibilities for which you can say that relatives are of no use. So about the nature of relatives and the action plan with respect to relatives, let us see in the next video. Okay, so kindly comment below what you felt and which category you belong to, and why do you think that what I said is right. And also, if you have any other reasons which I missed to add, please comment below. Thank you.